If you've set yourself goals in the past, whether they were for you personally or your business, and you failed at them, you probably blamed yourself. But the question is, how smart were you when you created your goals? No, I don't mean what was your IQ. I mean, did you use the SMART method for goal setting? SMART goals are a tried and tested way of goal setting that lines you up for success in achieving your goals, rather than destining them for failure. If you want to succeed at your goals, you need to watch this video, and by the end, you'll know how to set yourself effective, SMART goals that can help to drive your business and personal performance forwards. Want to get smart together? Goal setting is an important part of developing your business and your life. I strongly believe that you should always have at least one business goal and one personal goal running at all times. Let's just put the idea of goals in context for a moment. In a previous video, we discussed the importance of creating a vision for your life and for your business. The vision is your destination. It's where you want your life to be, what you want your business to look like. Those two visions should be your pictures on the wall, the ones that inspire you, that you look at like a Rembrandt, that you immerse yourself in, that you dream about, and always saying to yourself, one day I'll be there. Your vision is the destination. Now you just need the means to get there, and those are your goals. Your goals are the drivers. They are the vehicles that move you from where you are to where you want to be, towards your visions. Choose the right goals and make them smart, and you'll ensure that you're aligning yourself for success. So how do you go about setting these goals? There are plenty of goal setting systems and methodologies out there, and we'll highlight some more of these in future videos. But SMART goals is one of the most popular and well-known systems. SMART goals date back to 1981, where they were developed by George Doran, Arthur Miller, and James Cunningham, no relation to our firm. So they've been around for a bit. They're tried and tested and have found popularity and acceptance. Of course, there are also criticisms that you can level at the SMART goals method. Why else would there be other systems? But as a starting point, it's a good system to generate goals that can be effective drivers for your visions. So why is it called SMART? SMART is an acronym, and as with many such acronyms, what each letter stands for doesn't always stay the same each time it's explained. So don't be surprised if you see it written slightly differently elsewhere. The overall meaning of the 5 letters is the same. So let's break this down. SMART goals. S-M-A-R-T. Specific, measurable, achievable, resources, and timely. For a goal to be SMART, it needs to satisfy all 5 of these criteria. Let's go through each one. Specific. You want your goals to be specific, to be aiming at something that you have clearly explained, not be hazy and undefined. You want to be asking yourself questions like, what are we trying to achieve? What would achieving this goal look like? So, for example, let's say you started off with a goal that said, get more sales. Not very specific, is it? What do you mean by more sales? Do you mean a higher sales income, or a higher number of overall sales, or a greater number of customers? It could mean any of those. If you're not specific, then it's going to be difficult to decide on the actions you need to do to achieve the goal. So let's make this a bit more specific. Rather than get more sales, how about we say, we will increase our average revenue by customer. That's much better, isn't it? We've been more specific about what we are looking to do and how we are looking to do it. Could we be more specific? Absolutely. And that further specificity can be found in the next SMART criteria. Measurable. Measurable and specific nearly always fit together for me. By making a goal specific, you're often making it measurable at the same time, and vice versa. Measurable means, does the goal make clear how we are going to be able to reliably assess our progress towards it? It's often, but not always, the numbers in a goal, along with the meaning of those numbers. Let's take a look at our current goal. We will increase our average revenue by customer. Our goal already includes an element of measurable, average revenue by customer. By being specific, we have already added an element of measurability, but we're not there yet. What's missing from this? It's the numbers, isn't it? All we have is the word increase. Well, what do we mean by increase? If our average revenue by customer increased by 0.1%, would that satisfy us? Probably not, unless your average revenue is extraordinarily high. So there is a threshold we clearly have to reach before we can say we've satisfied the goal. What should that threshold be? Well, that's up to you. The target you set is based upon your specific circumstances and your specific goal. Don't worry though, our SMART acronym has a little more to say on this subject over the next few letters. For the purposes of our example now, let's just say that our goal is now written as, we will increase average revenue per customer by 50%. Before we leave measurable, it is also worth touching on another reason why measurability is important. It's not only about being able to measure our progress towards a goal, it's also about defining when the goal itself has been reached, when we have completed the goal, and it is time to decide on a new goal to replace it. Achievable. So you've got your goal written out. It's specific and it's measurable. You know exactly what it means and how you can measure whether you have been successful at it. But that doesn't mean it's a good goal yet. Our next question is it achievable? Take a look at this goal. I will live to the age of at least 250 years old. The goal is specific. There's no real ambiguity in there. It's measurable. I know when I was born, so it's very easy to measure my age and tell what year I will reach the age of 250 years old. But it's not achievable, is it? The longest lived person that has been verified reached the very impressive age of 122 years and 164 days, but that's a long way off 250 years old. So this is really not a very good goal because it's not achievable. Let's go back to our running example. We currently have, we will increase average revenue per customer by 50%. Is this achievable? Well, depending on the circumstances of the business, it may be, it may not be. Understanding your business and being realistic about what you can achieve will help you to assess whether the goals you set will be achievable or not. If they're not, then you will need to modify the goal. How might you start thinking about this if you're not sure? Well, SMART Goals have your back once again with the next letter. I hope you're enjoying this video and are finding it useful. If you are, can I ask you to click the like button below? It really helps us and YouTube know that you like what we do. If you're not already, why not subscribe to the channel whilst you're at it to make it easier to find our content in the future? We have videos coming out twice a week, so there's always something new to see. By the way, you remember I said that you'll find different versions of what the SMART acronym stands for. A common variation is for the meaning of A and R to be switched, with R standing for realistic in place of our A's achievable. In that variation, the letter A becomes attainable, and I find that less intuitive to its intended meaning than this version, where R stands for resources. Do we have access to what we need to achieve this goal? There are always prerequisites to achieving any goal. Even the most simple goals make assumptions that a set of resources are available to you to complete them. Take a really simple goal, to make a cup of tea. Sounds pretty easily achievable, doesn't it? But what are the resources that we are assuming we have in making the claim that this is an easy goal? Well, we're assuming we know how to make a cup of tea, or it's at least possible for us to access information that would provide instructions to make a cup of tea. We are assuming that a cup and some form of tea are available. We're assuming we have access to water and some way to heat that water. We are assuming that we have the physical ability to make a cup of tea, the use of hands, for example, or that we can instruct someone else to assist us if not, in which case we are assuming that there is someone available to assist us who can either make a cup of tea or follow our instructions to make one. You see how just a very simple goal actually requires quite a lot of prerequisites to complete it. Yes, it's a very simple goal for most people, but suppose you gave that same goal to a child who had never had tea before and they would only have 10 minutes to make it and could not receive any help from anyone else. Now, it's not so easy, is it? You know the child will almost certainly fail. Not all of the resources that they need are available to them, and so the goal is not achievable. It's not smart. It's not a good goal. When setting a goal for yourself, ask yourself carefully whether you have the resources to complete the goal, and what assumptions are you making when you consider the resources you need. Sometimes just considering those assumptions will identify a further resource that you need to take into consideration. So when we come back to our running example, we will increase our average revenue per customer by 50%. The question is now, do we have the resources to achieve this increase, or are the resources at least easily, if not readily, available? Let's suppose our business sells goods that we manufacture ourselves. Our goal is to increase our average revenue per customer, which is quite likely to increase our overall revenue, as we're not planning on reducing our number of customers. If we're increasing our revenue, are we also going to be increasing the amount of goods that our business sells? If so, do we have the production capacity to be able to cope with this increase? If we think that the revenue increase will require production to increase by, say, 40%, but we only have 20% available capacity remaining, then this is not going to be a good goal because resources are not available to make it achievable. Now, in this example, there are a couple of things we can do. The obvious one is to lower the target of our goal to, say, 30% rather than 50%, so that we don't exceed our production capacity. However, if resources are available, then we could leave this goal as it stands and have another goal alongside it. For example, we will increase our current production capacity by a minimum of 50% by building an extension to our existing factory. Sometimes you will want your goals to be discrete and separate, and other times you will want them to interact with each other. If we take the decision that we are going to extend the factory, in this example, then we need to make sure that our new extension is ready in time to ensure that as our sales increase beyond our existing capacity, we are ready to deliver. And that brings us very nicely to T, timely. All SMART goals must have some time constraint built into them. In our running example, now that we have two goals where one is dependent upon the other, the timing of the goal to build the new extension is going to be crucial to ensure we always have the production capacity. So timeliness of goals can be a very practical thing, but it's more than just that. A goal without some form of deadline that constrains the goal isn't a goal at all. It's a dream, a hope, an aspiration. It lacks commitment. Without that time constraint, it's not something you have any urgency to act upon. What's more powerful? I will secure 10 new repeat customers, or I will secure 10 new repeat customers by the end of the year. I hope you said the last one. By creating that time constraint, we have a call to action. We have to start making progress on this, or we're going to fail it at the end of the year. Without that constraint, it's just a dream. It would be nice to secure 10 new repeat customers, sure, and maybe we'll work towards it when we feel motivated to do so, but there's no urgency, is there? We might complete this unconstrained goal by the end of the year, but we might also complete it by the end of next year, or in 5 years' time, or just as we're about to retire, thinking we wished we'd achieved more in our business. So set a time constraint on your goal, but think about some of the other criteria of SMART goals as you do. Whatever constraint you add, it needs to be achievable, and so you need to have the resources available to complete it within that time constraint. It's all very well timing our example revenue goals to require our extra production capacity in 6 months, but if it's realistically going to take 9 to 12 months to build the factory extension, then it's pointless setting a goal for that extension to be built in 6 months' time just to fit in with the sales goal. So there we have it, smart goal setting. From the visions that you created for your life and your business, set your goals in line with these visions and make sure you make them smart. Specific, be very clear on what the goal is. Measurable, make sure you can measure your progress and when you have achieved it. Achievable, make sure your goal is realistic. Resources, make sure you have the resources available to achieve the goal. And timely, set a realistic time constraint on the achievement of the goal. Making your goals smart converts your vision, your dreams, into practical drivers for change. So think when you set your goals and be smart. In our next video, we're going to be discussing an important trap to be wary of when setting smart goals. You'll want to make sure you don't fall into it. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. And remember, sometimes just one thing is all it takes. See you on the next one.